Hey, it's Grady at Twin Creek Audio, and in this video I'm going to run some tracks through the analog monstrosity that I created in the last video where I linked, cascaded, or daisy-chained, whatever you want to call it, two 1980s recording mixers together so that I could sum 16 tracks. I did this by linking the buses and the two auxiliary sends, so today we're going to hear how that sounds. I've also added a couple of other crazy bits to the mix here, and it's really more of a mixing thing than a summing thing, at least on this first track. So this first track is a rock song. It's from my 2011 album Moondust, I think. So this is acoustic drums, bass guitar, electric guitars, and lots of cool vocal tracks. And for this one, I did more of a mixing thing, so I used the console EQ on both the Tascam M35 and the Fostex Model 450. I also wanted to add some reverb, and the easiest way to do that was to use a guitar pedal, namely the NuX Atlantic Delay and Reverb pedal. And then to add some swirliness to the cool background vocals, I used a Dunlop Univibe. I ran the reverb pedal and the Univibe off of auxiliary sends that were fed from the Tascam M35. But if you'll remember from the last video, AUX 1 and 2 on the Fostex Model 400 are linked or injected into the AUX sends on the Tascam M35. Then that gets sent out to the pedals and then comes back to the effects receive channels on the Tascam M35. First, I'm going to play the rock track that I summed through these two linked consoles with the addition of a DBX 163X on the snare, which was the only compression, NuX Atlantic Delay and Reverb pedal on the vocals, as well as a Dunlop Univibe on the vocals.
And drive me out of my mind. You keep me running when I need to unwind. Head starts spinning like a hurricane. If you kept your eyes open, would it feel the same? Insane. You're driving me away. I'm talking to you, but you don't hear a word. You know I hate to be so misunderstood. Head starts spinning like a hurricane. If you kept your eyes open, would it feel the same? Insane. You're driving me away. Insane. You got to be this way. And I know that I owe it to you now. And I reach across time. I know I can be what you want. It's too late. Head starts spinning like a hurricane. If you kept your eyes open, would it feel the same? Insane. You're driving me away.
So in all honesty, I kind of had to fight, I guess, the M35, since it's actually the final destination for the left-right mix that I'm printing, and I had to fight it. It's kind of murky, and this is a rock track and it's supposed to be punchy, so it took quite a bit of work to get it to be as punchy as it came out. But I do love the M35 preamps. Make sure to check out my other Tascam M35 videos where I recorded drums with the preamps. I think that's where the M35 shines, is with the transformer balanced mic preamps. And maybe for something less dense than a heavy rock mix like that, it might not have been as murky, but I did feel like I had to fight with it to get that mix to sound as good as it came out in the end. So here's the basics of the rock mix that you just heard. So the way that it works out is drums and bass are here, and guitars and vocals are here. We've got kick drum, snare drum, stereo toms, stereo overheads. This was a room mic. That's bass guitar. So all of those are coming into the M35 here with those tape switches set there at the top. And then I've used the EQ here on the M35. I boosted some kind of low mids on the kick drum to get it to be punchy, and boosted some high mids to give more attack. The snare drum, I actually boosted some lows on that to make it punchier, and then boosted some highs. They're not marked exactly on here, but I think it's around 5 to 7K on the snare drum. The toms, I brightened them up a little bit for attack, boosted a little bit of lows. The overheads have a high-end boost at about 7K, and then I actually cut out some low mids. The room mic, I boosted some low mids. Bass guitar, boosted a whole bunch around 80, and then a little bit around 1K for some attack. There's compressor, the DBX 163X that's sitting over there on the guitar pedal board. So here on the Model 450, we've got the guitars and the vocal tracks. So this is a stereo pair of guitar tracks, so I think it's actually 2 layers that are combined in the box. And then another mono guitar track that's kind of a heavier, it's got more low mids in the sound. The guitar solo, then stereo vocal tracks. This is also a couple of layers of vocals that are blended in the box and then sent out to these 2 channels. Then a mono background vocal, and then the lead vocal. I've also used some EQ on the Fostex Model 450, adding a little bit of highs and high mids to these guitars, removing some low mids from this heavier guitar and adding a little bit of, it looks like about 2K or so. The background vocals, I've sculpted that with a little bit of additional highs. I think that's all. Removed a little bit of low mids and add a little bit of high frequency EQ, which on this it's 10K. Same with the mono background vocal track, boosting a little bit of highs, high mids, removing a little bit of low mids to get rid of some mud. The lead vocal is pretty close to the same. No compression on any of these vocal tracks. All these are bused to subgroups 1 and 2 on the Model 450, which of course, as you know, is daisy chained or stacked combined with the subgroups on the Tascam M35. So this subgroup is just, I just saved this third subgroup instead of using it over here. I'm using that subgroup just because it's attached to this third effects return that I needed for the Univibe. So the DBX 163 is on the insert of channel 2 here on the M35 for the snare drum. And then the Nu X Atlantic delay and reverb pedal over here on the little pedal board thing beside us, that's running off of AUX 1 on the Fostex Model 450, which actually turns into the Q send over here because I have the AUX output from the Model 450 connected to an AUX input, which was actually originally for an expansion car for the M35. So I just linked the output of that AUX send over here to the AUX input, the expander AUX input on the Model 35, which is actually labeled Q over here. Next, I decided to take some more digital type stuff, more electronic sounds or just loops, and run those things through both of these mixers and do more of a summing instead of mixing like I did with the rock song where I added some other outboard gear or pedals. This was a really fun experiment to set up and try out, and it sounds pretty good. I think it is a little better with the electronic music and loops and stuff that's already really clean digital. It didn't do as well with the rock tracks with the multiple drum mics on live drums. It got a little bit muddy in that case. But for electronic music and drum machines or sample drums and summing those tracks through a rig like this, as crazy as it looks, actually sounds pretty good and does add some good analog saturation to the sound. You can let me know what you think in the comments below. Also, make sure to check out all the links in the video description to other videos that relate to this video, as well as links that help support this channel. I appreciate everyone that watches the channel. I hope each and every one of you out there has an excellent day, night, evening, weekend, weekday, hour, minute, second, nanosecond, whatever it is you're having. Have a good one. Thanks for watching.